Mid-season finale, no Judith Grimes whatsoever, so I think I can say that the character will not be as important as what I thought. Hit the button. Let's get started. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generations X, Y, and Z, inside Davis Manor, where we find humor in horror, and this is the place where I share my love of horror and entertainment, where I review TV shows, movies, talk about my time in the haunt industry, and before I break down The Walking Dead's episode Evolution, which was mid-season finale of Season 9, let me thank the patrons of the channel. So if you want to be part of the team by voting on future projects, help be part of the creative process, get behind-the-scenes access with me, enjoy my face, like being rewarded with merchandise, or even if you like the channel and just want to be a part of it, then check out the Patreon page by clicking the link above, and there's also links at the end of the video and in the description box below. So make sure you go ahead and check out that page because we're about to reach the latest goal, and who knows, your pledge could be the one that puts us over. But you might have realized I'm wearing a different shirt right now. Normally I wear my yellow Blitzbolt shirt, which is my signature shirt, my logo, and this says The Stalking Dead. Now, where did this shirt come from? Well, there is a Facebook group called The Stalking Dead, and I am a part of it. I am an honorary admin on there. The group was originally called The Talking Heads because they talked about The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. Big bunch of just fans that love the franchise. So if you love the franchise, go to Facebook, look up The Stalking Dead. They are a closed group, so that means you have to request to be a part of it, which is a great thing, meaning there's no bots around there to annoy you. There are actually genuine fans of the franchise, The Walking Dead, and Fear the Walking Dead. So go ahead and check them out. We start off tonight's episode with Jesus, Aaron, and Daryl, whom I will call the Three Volunteers, as they are on the hunt for Eugene when they find a herd of walkers that are about 130-40 total count. The problem with this herd is that they're acting a little bit different. Negan is his coy and irritating self, which eventually ends the session with Father Gabriel. This leads Gabriel to go outside the cell building to find out that Rosita is hurt and at Hilltop. And speaking of Hilltop, Meixsell and her crew are now at the gates of Hilltop with the inepts, and Diane is at the post and won't let anyone in until they surrender their weapons. And Diane might be the very first person in the post-apocalyptic world that has quit her job for another job. You see, she was a security guard at the Kingdom, but now she's moved on, possibly as head of security for Hilltop. And that's a good move if you think about it. I mean, it didn't change the pay at all since there is no pay, but the benefits are a lot more important. I mean, she's in a community now that is not falling apart, and there's always food around. So good move, Diane. Good move. Now, inside the gate, we start to see stuff that irked me. Michonne and Tara are giving each other the stank eye as Michonne asks for Jesus. You see, in this episode, the actors are doing what they have to in order to honor the script. The characters that we have watched for quite some time that know each other are now distant to each other. And why is that? We have no idea. And instead of being intrigued on what might have happened, I find myself put off because everyone has these emotional walls that are put up. It's much along the lines of when new characters come in and they have to act tough, keep their guard up, that kind of storyline. There's no suspense in there whatsoever. There's no curiosity of what has happened because everybody's just being a jerk to each other. And even though Alexandria is ruled by a council, which would have made Deanna proud.
Who's Deanna?
Really? It seems that Michonne has the last and final decision as head of security for Alexandria. However, this little storyline that we are watching shows that Michonne is not a good person at leading or security and is completely clueless as she has no idea what has happened to Maggie with the Commonwealth, or Rosita, or that Eugene is missing, or even that Aaron is gone once again and is off on a play date with Jesus and has been doing that for a long time. Even terrible leaders like Gregory had more knowledge of what was going on in their community than what Michonne has. I mean, come on, Michonne, up your game a bit, will you? But before Michonne has a moment with Carol, we get a little exposition with Sadiq, and apparently the communities are trying to keep to themselves now. And Carol steps into the scene, introduces herself to the inepts as Sadiq leaves. And there are a couple things that we learn in Carol and Michonne's conversation. Carol asks about RJ, so the whole theory that RJ might be a figment of Michonne's imagination is probably not true, unless Carol is going ahead and condoning that behavior. But she also mentions that she's dropping off Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry, Prince Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry, as he needs to learn a trade. And lastly, the most important thing is about the fair. We can only assume that the kingdom is hurting in more ways than we realize, but the fair in the comic books is about the communities coming together and bartering for goods. It's basically a big fairground event where all the communities get together and they trade things like weapons or luxury items, and Michonne doesn't want to be any part of it and almost has some type of xenophobic outlook on protecting her people. This fair is a huge part of the comic books. It is a pivotal part where Alpha, who is the leader of the Whisperers, gives Rick Grimes an ultimatum. We also get a chance to see that the Whisperers are in the thousands. Now, granted, that is with walkers in the mix, but the Whisperers have been able to direct them and control them as a weapon much better than the governor or Negan could ever think of. So we get back to the search party, you know, the 3 volunteers, and to be honest, you couldn't pick a better 3 out of these guys. Jesus and Aaron's original goals for their community were to find people, and Daryl has always been a master tracker. Just ask him. And after a few minutes of dialogue where they tell each other how great the others are, I begin to get queasy, and Daryl figures out that the herd is following him, so he throws an alarm clock to distract them. Back at Hilltop, Diane wants to go back to the kingdom and rides along with Carol. So much for leaving for a better job. Bad move, Diane. Bad move. Prince Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry says goodbye to Queen Carol, and Alden, you know, the savior with the heart of gold, helps load up. And speaking of Alden, the savior with the heart of gold, he is now one of the blacksmiths under Earl Sutton. And he, Alden that is, shows Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry how to make a spearhead. And then Doc McSufferin shows up, you know, Enid. She says hi to Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry. This inspires Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry to go and put his moves on Doc McSufferin Enid, which no doubt is going to make me cringe, but not nearly as bad as seeing Doc McSufferin playing tonsil hockey with Alden, the savior with a heart of gold. So you are going to take 2 characters that I hate, nay, loathe entirely, and put them together? What if they're going to have a kid together? That's like you trying to one-up the hate that I got for Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry by creating a character that I will no doubt have to call Alden-ated? And before I pop a blood vessel, let's head over to Negan's cell, where Negan and Gabriel are talking crap to each other. Let me reiterate that. They are talking crap metaphorically and literally. This ends up with Negan getting under Gabriel's skin to find out that Gabriel is upset that he can't go to Hilltop and check on Rosita because he must be the responsible one to stay and look over Negan. And with that, Gabriel slams the cell door and the guard unlocks Negan's cuffs and leaves. And at the mass dining area outside where everyone eats together, you know, because it's a community thing, Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry decides to eat alone. Why? Because he's a psychopath. And after the food he downs, he meets 2 boys and a girl around his age named Gage, Rodney, and Addie. Let the peer pressure commence. Rosita wakes up in the infirmary only to tell the reassuring Michonne and Sadiq that the 3 volunteers have no idea what they're getting into when they're trying to find Eugene. So Rosita gets up out of bed and tries to find them. The trio of trackers that I've been affectionately calling the 3 volunteers have found Eugene. So now there's 4 of them. Does that make them the 3 volunteers anymore? Yes, it does. Because instead of Aramis, Athos, and Porthos, we're going to have Eugene be Crying Sis, Jesus can be Pathos, and Aaron can be Prosthetos, and Daryl can be Daryl Tanyan. That way I can stretch the joke out longer. Anyways, Eugene has gone from his newly cool, level-headed demeanor, you know, after the time jump, back to the babbling coward once again. Well, that's called character development. Eugene tells him that the walkers are whispering to each other, and Daryl's dog, you know, dog, barks at the oncoming herd, and Daryl realizes it's the same herd, but there's a lot more of them. Getting back to the teens, they want to one-up Stephen King's Stand By Me, and instead of going to look at a body, they go to look at a walker trapped in a ditch. Then Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry needs to satiate his bloodlust and kills the walker. Yeah, it was done in a noble way, respecting the dead and all. But we really know that Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry hadn't killed anything lately, and he needs to get that out of his system, the sick little freak. While trying to escape the herd, Eugene thinks that the walkers are evolving, and then they decide to split, with Daryl distracting the herd so the other 3 can be safe. Negan, back at his cell, realizes that Gabriel never locked the door to his cell, so he steps out and disappears. Finally! If I had to wait 7 real years of him being locked up in a cell for this moment, I would have lost my mind. I can't wait to see what happens next. But we won't see Negan for the rest of the episode. Going from the jail of Alexandria to the jail at Hilltop, Earl has a heart-to-heart talk with Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry, who is locked up for public intoxication. Daryl tries to get the now over 300 walker herd to move towards him with firecrackers, and momentarily it works, but then the walkers stop and double back to Jesus, Aaron, and Eugene's direction. Cue to the 3 volunteers minus Daryl Tanyan. They are now at a cemetery. Which one? Who knows? We've never seen it before in any of the other years, but let's go ahead and fog it out like crazy. Why? Because it's creepier that way. And after some stock lightning effects, it looks much like a 1950s B horror movie set. But hey, let's go with it. And inside the cemetery, the boys get caught in a corner with no escape except a spiked gate that is wedged in the dirt. And they can hear whispers coming in all directions. Then the stupid happens upon us once again on this show. Somehow, Michonne shows up on the other side of the gate to go ahead and help Eugene. Then Magna shows up and Yumiko shows up. And Michonne is stunned and asks why those two are here. Well, let me back up here for a moment. The 3 volunteers without Daryl Tanyan were completely surrounded by walkers, whisperers, and fog. How did Michonne show up? How did she find them? Rosita? No. Rosita's not there. If she was there, Rosita would have wanted to go to a barn instead of a cemetery. She wanted to know where the cemetery was and how. How did Michonne find anyone in this fog? I mean, wouldn't she have, stumbled across the 300 walker herd that is surrounding the joint? Wouldn't the Whisperers have done something about that? She'd just go ahead and weave in and out? She'd have to deal with them. And the ever-observant Michonne, the head of security, didn't realize that Magna and Yumiko were following them? I mean, are they great trackers and ninjas, apparently, themselves? All of this happens so quickly that I don't think anybody noticed the sheer nonsense and the plot armor of it all. But the 3 ladies and Eugene dig enough dirt to open the gate for one person to pass through at a time. So Eugene escapes, Aaron escapes, and Jesus gets all 3 musketeer fancy-like, dancing around, slicing and dicing with a sword until he's left with the last walker. And boom, that was not a walker, that was a whisperer. And he says to Jesus, "You are where you don't belong." And Jesus dies, falling flat down on the dirt. Aaron, Michonne, Magna, and Yumiko run back in to fight. Eugene stays where he is because limping ain't easy. More walkers show up. Some of them are running with knives. Daryl Tanyan finally shows up, starts shooting his crossbow too. The heroes finally clear the area, and now we get a chance to see what has been a thorn in my side this whole season. A death that affects a character that has no effect on the audience. Now, don't get me wrong. People are upset that Jesus died. I am too. I like the character. We all like the character. But apparently, Aaron, who has had a strong bond with him, cries over his body. Excuse me? We've seen Aaron and Jesus together in 5 episodes in the entire run of both of their characters? The audience can't emotionally relate to Aaron in this scene because Aaron's just crying and it pulls us all out. All right, it pulls me out. Some of you guys might be a little bit more emotionally savvy than I am. But instead of focusing on the death of Jesus, we're now wondering, well, why is Aaron so distraught over the death of Jesus? They kind of just knew of each other. They didn't know each other. Yeah, sure, something might have happened the past 6 years, but we'll never know because of the time jump. And the last scene is pretty cool, I will admit. Daryl realizes that one of the walkers is wearing a mask and peels it off the dead body, revealing that there was a real person underneath. The whispers begin to grow louder as Dog begins to bark louder, and the heroes are prepared to fight. And then that's the end of the episode. Cliffhanger ending? Yes, of course. And I'm totally okay with that. Personally, I love the cliffhanger ending. I wanted more. That is what a cliffhanger ending should be like. However, what I can't stand is how they got us there. Why did they suddenly get more people like Ian Epps there? It's just wrong. Either way, I'm excited to see what's coming up. So my question of the day is this. What is your prediction for the back half of Season 9? Mine is that Season 9 will end with our heroes witnessing the perimeter that the Whisperers have made, which would make Vlad the Impaler blush. And if you haven't hit that red subscribe button yet, go ahead and do it. Don't miss out on any of the awesome content that we're putting up here. And, of course, be part of the notification squad by clicking that bell icon so you get notified the moment that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.